Everyone thinks a Martin is all about shimmering spruce and cannon-like projection, but here is the thing. The 0 to 15M wins by refusing to play that game, and if you buy it expecting sparkle, you might actually be disappointed. The surprising truth is that this all mahogany 0 to 14 fret classic is intentionally dry, focused, and naturally compressed, and in the real world of recording and songwriting, that tone can embarrass pricier models. I spent 3 solid weeks with it, logging about 25 hours across sessions, A/B testing it against my bright spruce ohm and a small-body mahogany rival, mic'd in the studio and played on the couch. What I heard flipped my expectations, but I also found 2 potential deal breakers that could save you $16.99 and a return label. Stay with me. Before we dive into what I discovered, quick heads up. If you are already feeling that warm, vintage-leaning tone calling your name, I linked the best current price below. But hang on, because what surprised me about the 0 to 15M might change how you buy a Martin altogether. Here is why I even picked this up. I am a singer-songwriter who lives in the vocal range warzone. My spruce dreadnought sounded huge alone, but the minute I double-tracked acoustics under a lead vocal, the top end turned into sandpaper. I wanted a guitar that could live under a voice without a 45-minute EQ wrestling match. I tried a parade of small bodies that promised warmth but either felt cramped for fingerstyle or got boxy fast. After a disappointing experiment with a parlor that vanished in the room, I went looking for a guitar that put tone first and eye candy last. Enter the Martin 0 to 15M, the so-called working musician's Martin. No bling, no binding, satin from headstock to end pin, abalone diamond and squares on a simple fingerboard, open-back tuners, and that classic 0 silhouette. Color me skeptical but curious. Testing phase, round 1, late-night fingerstyle. Phosphor bronze 12s, bare nails, mic at the 12th fret about 8 inches off, room at 46% humidity. I was expecting thump and mud. Instead, I got a mid-forward voice with a soft halo around the note, quick attack, and a polite low end that stayed out of my vocals' way. The sustain was musical without ringing into the next measure. I tracked 3 layers, and for the first time this month, I did not notch out 2 to 4K Hz by 5 dB interesting, but then I took it to the couch for dynamic testing. Light touch to heavy strum using a 0.73 pick. Here is where the all mahogany top shows its personality. When you dig in, instead of getting louder and spiky, the sound gets woodier and thicker. Think built-in compression. The ceiling is real. If you are a bluegrass chopper, you will want more headroom. But for singer-songwriter strums and bluesy rakes, the 0 to 15M stays musical, not harsh. Next test. A/B recording against my spruce ohm and a compact all-mahogany competitor. I set up matched mics and levels, then stacked the same progression 4 times with each guitar. The spruce ohm had gorgeous chime but crowded the hi-hat and vocal sibilance instantly. The compact competitor had warmth but sounded smaller and boxier when doubled. The 0 to 15M. It layered with a consistent mid-range focus and almost zero EQ drama. I shaved a gentle 1.5 dB around 300 Hz and called it a day. Stacked, it sounded like one confident instrument instead of a messy chorus of frequencies. Build check. The satin finish feels fast and organic, and yes, it will show wear marks faster than gloss. Consider that a feature if you like honest patina. The open-back tuners are smooth and hold tune. Mine needed a quarter turn out of the box and then settled. Fretwork was tidy with no sprout, and intonation was on point up the neck. The modified low oval neck profile is the sleeper hit. It is quick for fingerstyle runs but has enough shoulder to keep bars from cramping. The 0 body sits just right whether you are slouched on the couch or on a stool, and the lightweight feel, under 4 pounds in my case, makes long sessions effortless. But then, the realities. First, if your sound lives in aggressive strumming land, the natural compression and mid-focus can feel like a cap. It will not explode like a spruce dread. Second, the minimalist aesthetic means you are getting tone over trimmings. No binding, and the satin can gloss up where your arm rests. If you want stage flash, this is not it. Also note, it ships without onboard electronics. I ran it into a mic for studio and a simple external pickup for a coffeehouse test. No problem, but plan on adding a K and K or similar if you gig. Here is the revelation after all that time and takes. The 0 to 15M is less about wow in the room and more about wow in the track. The most surprising discovery was how little I had to fight it. I spent hours testing in different rooms and humidity windows, and every time it landed in the mix with a confidence I usually only get after EQ surgery. Versus my Spruce Ohm, which is stunning solo, the 0-15M simply cooperated with vocals, piano, and percussion immediately. Versus the smaller mahogany rival, the Martin had a wider, airier low end and more projection without getting nasal. And the playability, that modified low oval with a rosewood-topped mahogany neck let me jump from thumb-over blues to classical position without thinking. It validated the reputation. This is the working musician's Martin. At roughly $16.99 and a 4.7-star crowd pleaser on Amazon, it earns that trust not with hype, but with tracks that just plain work. Now that you know it excels in real mixes and honest songwriting sessions, the next smart step is timing. Martins tend to go out of stock and prices rarely trend down. If this fits your sound, grab it while it is available, link in the description for the best current price. Bottom line, the Martin 0-15M is for singer-songwriters, roots players, fingerstyle blues fans, and anyone who records at home and wants less EQ and more vibe. If you need canon-like headroom for bluegrass or crave gloss-end binding drama, look elsewhere or pair it with a pickup and a brighter pick. For the rest of us, this thing is a tone tool that shows up, does the job, and earns its keep from day one. Nobody buys the 0-15M for flash. You buy it because warm, balanced, and honest beats loud and shiny every single time.